Hey, welcome back to the channel. All right, Kabam has decided on what the compensation will be for the 7-star crystals that were bugged earlier this morning. Now, if you saw my videos, you were following me on Twitter, you know that I did an opening. In the course of the opening, was like, I don't think these champions are in here. I put the video out with the saying like, hey, warning, don't open. We don't know what's going on. We don't know if there's gonna be comp. We don't know any of those things. I put it on Twitter, of course, even faster because I could do it faster than a video. And I want to, I've been talking about this stuff for months, so I think it makes sense for me to continue talking about it. Kabam at 10:39 a.m. For those who don't know, the at 10 o'clock a.m. Vancouver Pacific Standard Time is when the crystal launched. At 10:30, they were already saying like, "There's an issue. There is an issue. The team is currently discussing compensation, and we will update you shortly on the path forward. We apologize for this." Uh, 17 minutes later, they're saying the crystal is now fixed. The push is live. Okay. And then and now at 3:40, I'm getting to this a little bit later. I had some work things going on, so I wasn't aware of this until now. They're saying they're actually going to give a 1-for-1 compensation for everyone who opened up one of the bugged crystals. I know there's a variety of opinions on this. I was live streaming today at some point. We actually had a really good discussion on this, and the idea was presented like, listen, this is going to encourage people though, because my thought was you basically make whole the people that were wrong. That's just how I think about things. It's kind of like my education background, my training is if something happened and it was wronged or bugged or something like that, you make whole the people that were wronged. You don't make whole everyone because they already are whole. They weren't wronged in any way, shape, or form. And when it comes to compensation and making me feel good about, hey, if I purchase something in this game or if I open something in this game and it's not what it was supposed to be, Kabam's going to make it right. And I've been talking a lot about the way Kabam, the community team, because they're the ones who do the writing and stuff, treat us, me, and my viewers. And I have noticed significant, tremendous improvement over the last 2 or 3 months from the way we were treated for about 10 years. I understand that this compensation is going to upset some people. There are people on my stream who are saying like, what this will do though, if they do what me, Vega was suggesting and make whole the people that open the crystal, is this will make everyone feel like they have to rush through things or potentially like exploit the game when those things happen. And I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm saying like anytime there is a decision like this where compensation needs to be made or how do we make the game whole or whatever, it's going to be like basically how do we hit our priorities while also shortchanging the smallest amount of people as possible. And I can understand that there's like this 17-minute period of time where it was where Kabam had made us aware the crystals were bugged between the crystals actually being fixed, where there's some people who became aware of it and didn't open. And I do feel badly for them. I do. I'm not trying to say that you shouldn't be upset or that you're wrong. What I'm saying is if Kabam is going to adopt the attitude that we will make people whole when something is wrong. Now, of course, Kabam's going to try to minimize mistakes. Of course they will. And we all have jokes. They make mistakes. They're a company. No one's perfect. They're going to make mistakes. That's going to happen. But it's what they do when they make the mistakes while also trying to minimize them. And for me and my viewers and the people I see spending money on the game, if they're being treated well, if they're being talked to well, they're not being, there's no condescending attitudes, no insults or anything like that. And if they spend money on something and it's not what it was advertised to be, or they spend their time on something and it wasn't what it was advertised to be, and Kabam's gonna make them whole in those scenarios, I'm all for it. I think that's worth it. If that causes people to jump in early and open up crystals and stuff, like, I'm not saying that you should leave your job. Of course you shouldn't, or you shouldn't like do it in the middle of class. But I don't think there's also anything wrong with Kabam incentivizing people to play the game or to get into the game. And I'm not trying to straw man what you're saying. I'm just saying, like, I think if that's the negative, if the negative is this will now cause people to open up Titans and basics as soon as there's changeovers, I'm like, that's not that big of a negative. That sounds fine, especially if the positive that comes with it is that people know that what they open and what they saved for and what they spent their time for is going to be, if it's bugged, they're going to actually get that. They can have that confidence in it. That's consumer confidence. I'm very okay with that. And as far as like, and some people said this on stream too, is like exploiting bugs in the game. Things like this is really, I think this is really different. This isn't a quest that was bugged that people ran hundreds of times to get the rewards when we all know you get the rewards once and that's it. That's not what this is. That's an exploit. This was a bugged crystal. Those are two very, very different things. This isn't like exploiting BGs and using cheats and being like, "Oh, it's okay," or whatever. Like, or again, exploiting a bug in a quest or exploiting a bug in a champion interaction or something of that nature that we all know that shouldn't happen. This is people who were excited, like myself. I can easily identify it because I was one of them. Saved up, logged in, minute one, open crystals. It wasn't what it was supposed to be. The rest of the group did not feel or interact with or get the same harm because they didn't open up the bugged crystals. The crystals are bugged. In my opinion, the people who open them are the ones who should be made whole. Kabam has done that. If the biggest side effect is now people will feel like they should have confidence in what Kabam's going to do, and that will cause them to open up crystals and do things quickly. And if there's those crystals are bugged, they should have confidence that Kabam's going to make them whole. I actually see that as a positive. I'm always open to your ideas. Please keep it respectful. But again, I personally see this as a tremendous, basically confirmation that the community treatment of late is consistent, is real, is that this is what they're doing. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.